Coach. You want to go ahead and share it before we get started?
Yeah.
All right. Welcome to Excelsior Citizens coverage of the press conference for the boys soccer team. Just finished third at state. Everybody give them a round of applause. Insert crowd noise here. Coach Ganzer's getting on. He's going to share it from the soccer team's page. Make sure get it out to as many people as we can. Why don't we go down? Ethan, let's start with you. Tell us who you are, what grade you're in, what's going on with you here.
My name's Ethan Edwards. I'm a senior here at the high school. Not a whole lot going on with me, just finished up soccer, so it's a little bittersweet. But.
I'm Andrew Armstrong, also a senior at Excelsior Springs High School. Not a whole lot. Soccer's over, ready to rest, and then start off-season training for track.
Are you both seniors?
Yeah.
Both seniors, yeah. Okay. Catch that. Then, of course, we have Coach Ganzer.
Hey-o.
Yeah. So, take us through, before we get into the championship, take me back through the season. A lot of excitement here at the end of the season. Take us back through the beginning of the season. Did you always feel like you had a shot at going to state here?
I think we did, yeah. Just looking back, we had a bunch of potential, a lot of young players that they just grew into their roles. So I was really happy to see that it all came together at the end.
How about you, Andrew?
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at the incoming freshmen coming up this year. They played a huge role this year, and we definitely had a very successful year. So.
Cool. Coach, what about you? What do you think about from the beginning of the season to the end? Kind of take us through. Did you always feel like you had a shot at this thing?
Yeah, for sure. It's funny. Ethan kind of said it there, but the big thing we said from day one, literally, we had a team meeting with the boys and just said, hey, in this room right here, there's a lot of potential. But what we do with that potential is whether or not we're successful and if we're able to be successful ultimately on the field. So we felt really good about it, but there's so many variables that go into play. If we would come together or not. So it was fantastic to get us see it, put it all together and make it successful was so rewarding. But yeah, we felt good about this group, but we just there's a lot of moving pieces, so you never know.
Were there any standout games throughout the season, like where you're like, this is really clicking, like this is awesome, we've got something here?
Yeah. What do you guys think? You guys got one?
I would say earlier in the season we played Truman, they're a Class 4 team, so we didn't really know our potential at that moment. But after we beat them, I feel like we kind of understood that we are a team that can play and consistently compete for championships.
Andrew, you got anything to add?
Yeah, I'd say the same thing with beating Truman. That was just a huge win we had. But overall, just the whole season, all the little games, all the big games we had, it just all led up to the end of the season, going to championships. So.
Awesome. So, we got to talk about this. We got to address the elephant in the room here. So we had the first semifinal game there, the semifinal match, and you were up going into halftime. We were watching at home. You're up 3-0. How are you feeling at halftime? What was going on?
Want to start that, Andrew?
Yeah, going into halftime with a 3-0 lead, I mean, you feel confident in what you're doing, and you feel like you can have that lead, but just slipped away from us, a few mistakes here and there. Our goalkeeper got out, had to sub him on with someone new. So, yeah.
So what happened? The goalkeeper's out. What happened? Can you explain that situation? What happened? Why?
Yeah, I think he got hit in the face. Made a big save for us. Literally sacrificed his nose and made a big save. And they, because of blood, they had to take him out. And so it stopped the blood, and our trainer Brett was there and took care of that. But the rule is that you have to pull him off, and so we were literally waiting to get him back on, and they score the first one. But yeah.
So as they're climbing back, they're getting back into the game. you're watching this thing, and like, was it panic at that point, Coach, or what was going on?
No, again, we played so well in the first half. We knew it wasn't over. Our discussion at halftime was we've got to go score one more, to really solidify our lead. I told the boys that, this is championship soccer, so they're going to score. We felt very confident they were going to score, and that's just what good teams do, late in the season. So we knew they were going to score. We knew we needed to get one. Had a really good opportunity about 27 minutes left to go, and didn't end up capitalizing on that. And then 2 minutes later they get the first one. I think the biggest thing that we struggled with was just our experience level there. That Perryville team's been good for several years, has been in the playoffs, for many years. The coach, has got 30-some years worth of coaching, around that area. So we just struggled a little bit we have a very young team. I haven't done the math yet, but I would assume that our team was one of, if not the youngest, based on age, playing in the Final Four. So it means a lot of really good things for us, but the one downfall is we lack a little bit of experience in big games. And so, it's tough to learn a lesson that we did, on the stage that we did. But there's so many bigger life lessons that go along with that, that I think ultimately that we're going to learn from it. And you can already tell. I mean, there were some long faces on Friday night, mine included. And for us to respond the way that we did on Saturday and really come back and take care of business like we should, and like we talked about how Excelsior Springs community members would do it. We want to end the story the right way, and so that's what we did. I was very proud of them.
So, yeah, tell me about that. The bounce back the next day, beating Harrisonville. Like, you beat them more earlier in the season, 1-0. But Coach had told me that it was what was the brutal condition that you beat them? So, and they were down a player at that point. Was that player back for this match?
Yeah.
And so he was back. So you really feel? It seems to me like that'd be a strong point to be able to beat somebody at their top of their game as well. So they're back full strength, and it must have felt good then to have a little redemption.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
Definitely. I feel like after Friday night's game, we reflected as a team, and we understood how we felt, and we kind of came to the conclusion that we don't want to feel like that. And we came out the next day, and we're going to be prepared, and that's how it happened pretty much. Came out and played well.
Yeah. I think the biggest part about Friday that night was a lot of reflection. Just we were very urgent to go back the next day. We knew that wasn't our best soccer on Friday night, so just being ready to go back Saturday, we're just ready to go and wanted to win. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we'll stick on the final game there a little bit more. And Coach, this is more of a question for you. You were on that championship run back in 2004.
Yeah.
As a player.
Yep.
Now you're back as a coach. What was the difference? What were the emotions for you going there as a player and now coming back as a coach? What was the difference?
Yeah, I think in 2004 I was really humbled to go as a player. It's something you work your entire life for, to be able to have that opportunity and then get to experience it with guys that you went into battle with on a day-to-day basis was really special. But as a 17, 16-year-old kid, I don't think I took it in as much. I knew the moment, and just being able to be there with the top 16 teams, and at that time I think it was 12 teams in the state of Missouri, which was super cool. But to go back and kind of experience that with this group is way more rewarding on this side of things. Just to know the experiences that I had, and it just gives me chills, the back of my neck, thinking about the memories and the excitement and the yelling and screaming, the dog piles that we had this year, and I think just for me personally, it's just the one-on-one stories that each player and I had, that I knew what they had ground through and overcome throughout the year, and in order for us to put all of this together, and so it was just really special to see the guys step up in some of the biggest moments. And they were prepared for him. So I think it was much better this time on being on this side of the fence or the table or whatever, getting to watch these guys experience the same thing that that I was able to experience was really rewarding.
Yeah. Question for all of you. You'd mentioned kind of some of these lessons that were learned. Can you, players, coach, tell us what are some of the lessons that you learned through this process of going to state and coming back with that third place finish, feeling good about that? What were some of the lessons you learned?
I would say just take it all in. I mean, hasn't happened since 2004, so just the memories, just to soak it all in. All of that stuff will mean everything to us, I know, in the future. So that was the biggest thing I learned from last weekend.
Yeah, kind of like what Andrew said, just cherish each moment. It only comes once in a lifetime, so you have to understand where you're at and what's going on so you can cherish it.
There's a lot of belief, stuff that we worked through throughout the year. So some of the biggest things I felt like our schedule was really set up to learn these lessons. It was like, one of those, the stars were aligned for us, because it seemed like every time we needed to learn a big lesson, we did, and whether we won or we lost, that lesson was solidified, and so we took that into the next game, where it was a pretty big, important game for us, and we needed to apply that lesson, and then we did, and so it was just little steps along the way. We talk about discipline literally every day at practice, and making sure that our I's are dotted and T's are crossed, and we're starting behind the lines and finishing sprints and things like that. And then one of the biggest moments, I look back in our season, it was the district final game against Marshall, and we needed to be really disciplined about the way that we approached their team. They were really good keeping possession, and we felt like we did some really good things as well. So it's just, we needed to make sure that we understood what we were strong at, and be able to be composed enough, disciplined enough to execute our style of play. And it just goes to show, all those little conversations that you have are so effective, and they pay off in the biggest moments when it matters the most. So I think the life lesson we learned from this weekend, especially against a good team like Perryville, is when things are going well, you don't just rest, and I mean, you kind of want to look around and enjoy the moment, enjoy being there, but how much better can you make it? We talked a lot about fear going into it the next day, and that a lot of times you can fear the worst, or you can fear the best and what you're capable of. And I think what we feared at the time, that second half in Perryville, was we were fearing the worst. What could be the worst thing that could happen? And then ultimately that's almost what happened. Probably not the absolute worst, but we weren't aware of how good we could actually be. So I think in reflection, the guys did a lot of looking inside themselves, Friday night, and I think the reflection was, hey, this could be bigger. It could be bigger than even what we notice about ourselves. And so I think that was huge for us to come out on Saturday and play that way and write our own storybook ending. So, everybody and their brother wanted to talk about how we kind of collapsed there on Friday night, but huge for our guys to respond the way they did.
Yeah, it was awesome the way.
Yeah.
And the community is very proud of you. I want to know, being behind the Citizen here, getting all the comments, seeing flooded. I know you guys have been flooded with the support and love from the community too, and just everybody's really proud of you and the job you did in representing Excelsior. So
Thank you.
I'll go. We've got a couple of questions from the audience, and then I kind of wanted to touch too on the guys here, since they're both seniors. What's next for you guys? Are you playing college plans? You guys got? Is there any college prospects? Are you looking at anything like that?
Yeah, well, I do golf in the spring for the high school, and then I plan to go to college to play soccer somewhere. So.
Have you got it narrowed down any place yet?
No, not yet.
That's okay.
He's got a handful.
That's good. You got some options.
That's right.
Andrew, how about you?
I don't know yet outside of high school. I'm looking just probably go to Maple Woods, use my A+, and then just go from there.
Smart.
Business
Yeah.
oriented.
Yes, I want to start my own business very badly. I do a lot of car wrapping, car detailing, a lot of that stuff, which is what I want to pursue more when I'm done with Maple Woods. I'll minor in business, and whatever takes me from there, I'll just go with.
Awesome. And so then we've got a question. Frank Nordstrom wants to know from Coach, how are you going to grow this program? Like, tell us the breakdown. You mentioned the youngness of the squad.
Yeah.
Looking forward, what's next season look like for the Soccer Tigers?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, that I want to say to all the people that came before these guys is really, my first year we took over this program was, Coach K and I back in 2014, and, our whole mantra that year was like laying the foundation, and if I remember back, I think we were like 3-13 that year, which didn't say a lot for our record, but I think what was most important from that year to every year, forward was that the things that we did this year wouldn't have happened had it not been for the players that came before us, before these guys. The way we train is unlike no other. That's one of the biggest things I'll miss from this group is that just going to practice, because I knew that they were great kids that like to work together and push each other. And that culture started in 2014, and really probably before that. But, we've had several classes of just great guys that are willing to push the envelope effort-wise. And, so first step is we've got to continue to do that. We want to maximize our potential, and the way that we do that is we get after it every single day. And, we got something to prove, and we got to prove a lot of people wrong. So that's the biggest thing. After that, you reflect. We already started reflecting on the way home as a coaching staff on, what are we going to do that better next year? We return a really good group, hard to replace these two, that's for sure. But they've left us in a really good situation. Their leadership is, invaluable, but they left us in a really good situation. We have a really young team it's going to be just as competitive this year amongst our group next year, and that's just it. Just get back to it and work on the little things we need to in the off season. Have our guys make sure they're training in the off season, playing club soccer. But I think just that little taste, I'm sure that these guys would tell you they would do anything to go back and experience the things that they did. So, my hope is that little taste is going to be all this the sampling that we need to go try to do it again. It's very difficult. There's a lot of things that go into a season like this. Injuries, we were very fortunate. Sicknesses, things with COVID, we were very fortunate. So there's a lot of things that go into it, but I think the biggest thing we focus on every day, and the thing that we're going to continue to focus on is what is our attitude like in practice? What kind of effort do we give there? And then if we win every day, if we're 1% better every day, we feel really good about competing for championships, and that's our ultimate goal.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much for taking the time to visit with us today. Again, the community is very proud of you. Congratulations, and good luck next season.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Go Tigers.
Yeah, go Tigers.